music production.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Unfriended. Today, I got a real old friend of mine, my boy Tim Alsbrooks. But real quick, let me go ahead and give a shout out to Panther City Hat Company. If you like comfortable, stylish, and well-made hats with Fort Worth in mind, check them out. Right now, they're going to be doing 15% off for Unfriended viewers and listeners. So over at PantherCityHatCo.com, it's PantherCityHatCo.com. Just use the code Unfriended at checkout. You get 15% off. I was gonna say it'd be a good Christmas gift, but you better get on it. You know what I mean? Well, actually, by the time this airs, it might be too late, but you still get your 15% off anyways, man.
No, definitely not. It's Monday's the 23rd,
Yeah,
the
time's be flying
22nd.
by to me. I don't even know. Oh, Christmas is in a couple of days though.
It's on Wednesday.
I need to get on my Christmas shopping.
Yeah,
I need to go
something
hit.
like that.
I need to
Yeah.
go hit up Panther City Hat Company. But yeah, again, just use the code Unfriended to check out 15% off. There's two of the hats right there. They got a ton of other hats. They got shirts, stickers. They got hats for kids. They've got stuff for girls. Everything. Dope company. A lot of good stuff. Shout out to Klarity Music Group for the production of this podcast. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook under Klarity Music Group LLC. It's Klarity with a K. You can also find them at claritymusicgroup.com. It's Klarity with a K. And like I said, man, you got your boy Rob G, my boy T over here holding it down, co-host, and my boy Tim Alsbrooks. What's good?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. It's a little smirk on your face.
I like listening to you go through your spill.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it on lock, man. If you go
Comes
back,
off natural.
I appreciate that, dude. Because the first couple episodes, you go back and look, it's a little, first couple episodes, I had it written super small, so I'm sitting here I can't even read it, and it was a disaster, bro. So hopefully we getting better and better and better. So I appreciate that. But man, where do I start with you? I've got a couple of talking points. You already know I'm not about to interview you, but as always, man, I do have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
But let's just start here real quick, man. Just tell T a little bit about what do you do?
I shoot photos, videos, produce, direct, DP, camera op, gaff things. Anything on the set. It's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I know you pretty well.
Yeah, you do.
But I gotta set it up to where we can get these viewers and listeners to know how dope you are, man. So let's see, man. Where do we want to start with all this, man? First of all, what have you been doing lately? Let's just kick it off right there.
I mean, lately we did a gig for Amazon. That was really cool. They installed like a healthcare system into their facility. So they asked us to go and produce kind of some video and photo content for them to use for internal. So that was a big project. I've just been working with my boy Brent. He does everything from like Deep Ellum Brewing Company to Garrison Brothers Whiskey. So
nice.
Traveling around doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Just staying busy, man, really. A lot of personal shoots, personal projects and stuff. Just trying to be creative. This year's been kind of crazy. Like every month you'll look at it and be like, oh, my calendar's kind of empty. And then that first week hits and it's like, fuck, when are my days off? Like,
dude, yeah. I follow you as to the best of my ability on social media, whatever, and you're always doing something,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get like you. Trying to be like you, bro.
You seem pretty busy, bro.
Trying to stay. Yeah, I've been this year. Yeah, this year's been good, and 2020 is gonna be. And I know that's like super cliche. Everybody's saying, oh, new year, new me.
Yeah.
2020, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I hope for everybody saying that y'all really do that. But whether this was about to be 2020 or not, just me and T, we have a lot of things that we've put in place a while back, and they're finally it just so happens it's gonna be hitting around the new year, you know. So ain't no new year, new me, nothing. It's what we've been doing. It's just we're finally gonna start seeing some results for a lot of the work we put in. I'm trying to think. Last time I had you on the podcast was over a year ago. Easily, right?
Yeah, no video. You switched it up already.
Yeah.
Just keep growing.
It's
Improvement.
just audio last time, and that was a good podcast, man. And that reminds me, dude, I'm not seeing many pictures of the birds anymore, man.
Oh, the pigeons. Yeah.
The pigeons, yeah.
They're still there, bro.
Really?
I don't share them as much.
Man, send them to me.
Yeah?
Because
You
I
wanna see 'em?
enjoyed. I really enjoyed seeing
sure.
that, dude. He takes a lot of. Or he did. Or I guess you are still, but just not posting it. But
do
dude, he like, you know, there's a lot of like just dope pictures of pigeons, like crazy dope pictures. like I said, man, it's all the ones I've seen, dude. It's almost like he got the pigeon to pose for him. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's because they're robots, bro. Pigeons aren't real.
you think so?
Oh, I know so.
Yeah.
Name the last time you seen a baby pigeon.
Never in my
I don't think I
entire
ever have
life.
seen a baby
That's
pigeon
right.
before.
They're robots.
That's facts.
And what's their purpose? You think?
They're drones. What do you mean?
Just collecting like
Data, surveillance,
Yeah.
watching people, scouting.
See, you know, I always thought, you know, I always think about like bees and shit like that. You know, especially that what was that show? Black Mirror.
Yeah.
They had an episode where all the bees were getting, you know, they were surveillance.
Yeah.
And you know, in this crazy ass world, shit.
Wouldn't surprise you.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, you know they have the technology to do it.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah.
you know. I mean, why wouldn't that be going on? You know. Okay, so yeah, so he takes pictures of these robots and shit, bro. It's dope. And you're still doing most of your stuff out in Dallas, right? Like as far as when you go
Yeah.
hit up the buildings and all the
For the adventure stuff.
Yeah, the adventure
it's pretty
stuff,
Much,
yeah.
It's pretty much like the urban exploring.
And I should have shown T some of your stuff, man. He's one of these crazy dudes where he'll be having his legs like hanging off the end of a skyscraper, and I don't know if you've seen people doing that or whatever, but he'll be up crazy spots. Like I told you last time, I'm worried about you, bro. Like when I see pictures, I'm like, bro.
It's safe, bro.
Like
it's
no, it's
Photoshop.
not safe though.
It's Photoshop.
And it's not Photoshop.
So if you say it's safe, I
It's
gotta
not
believe you. I
safe.
trust
Safe,
you.
bro. None of us have died yet in my group.
You are not yet.
Not yet.
Well, let's not say all that, man. Let's not speak any of that into existence, bro. That's horrible. No, you know.
No, I'm not speaking into existence, but like, I mean, that's the fact.
But I'll
The
show
fact.
you
bound
after
to- it's
this.
bound to happen.
Yeah, right.
After
Someone's
this,
gonna
I'll show
fall.
you some stuff, and it's you're like you know okay. So earlier, just a few minutes back, you were saying us. You know, we just did this, or you know, they had us do that. Who are you talking about? Like, have you built a team around you now, or
Yeah.
y'all all just your individual entities, and y'all come together for this and that, or is TA Visuals like? Do you have people?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
no, I feel you. I have a couple of different people that I work with on a regular.
Okay.
And then we all have our own things going on. But I mean,
Right.
we run a page called KillaFramez. And so,
See, you gotta tell me about this kind of stuff, man. I do my best to follow you, but
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I'm missing all the good stuff.
for sure, I mean, I'm sure I've posted about it. We
Yeah.
just, right now, we're in the point where, like, we're really branding it. But we have a graphic designer. I've got a marketing guy. I've got tons of videographers, cinematographers, photographers. And we just work with other brands to kind of make relationships and create custom content for them. And also promote it, because I think we have like right now we're at like 49,000 followers. So, and that was it's just a process of building, and
Yeah.
we've decided it might as well be its own business and see what we
Oh,
can
okay.
do. Yeah,
Okay. So, and what was the name of that again?
KillaFramez.
KillaFramez?
Yeah, with a Z.
Okay. See, before you, a couple of days ago, again, I mean, I follow you or whatever, but I actually clicked on your stuff to just see, you know, what was going on. And I noticed that last time you were here, you were already working with Timba bags and all that stuff. And I noticed you still are, you know, ambassador for them. And then also, I noticed that you got the Tokiner, is that how you say it?
Yeah,
USA, the
Tokiner.
lenses. They
Yep.
just do lenses and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because again, man, I'm trying to get into the video and stuff too. So you're gonna be my go-to guy
go.
for stuff. So I was just
Got you.
creeping on your page, and like I said, so you're like an actual like ambassador for them. And I also noticed that what was it? The Savage Universal. They have a lot of your pictures and stuff on their feed, and like it's really dope. But I was gonna ask, like, what is that?
So they do. First off, they make backdrops. That's what they're most known for. So
Okay.
like colored paper, white, black, gray, every color you could get your hands on. So if you do a lot of studio work, they make stands, backdrops, light modifiers.
So I need to be in contact with them about
of course
setting this up a little better.
Yeah.
Okay, man, that's dope. And you're an ambassador for them as well.
Yeah. I mess
So
with them
when
a
it
lot.
says ambassador, is that just more of a relationship you've built basically to where y'all just help each other out?
Yeah. I'll create content for them, and they offer
Okay.
me. Every brand's a little different. Like Tokina's sends me lenses and saves me thousands of dollars on glass, and it's like, hey, use these lenses, test them out, let us know what you think.
Okay,
What's
cool.
good, what's bad. Here's a prototype. Here's something we're working on. So they just share information and gear with me, and in return, I help create content for their
Yeah.
pages. So it's beneficial on both. It's like a very symbiotic relationship.
Dude, yeah, that's dope. For real.
Yeah, I see that as ambassador is like you've put in enough work for them to consider you at that pinnacle or that level of recognition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still don't think that about myself, but it's
You should. I seen
Yeah,
it.
I would too. But like the way that you operate, unless something's changed, is first of all, I know that you're not gonna back anything that you don't truly back.
True.
Is that still true? Again, I haven't talked to you. We talked, but I haven't sat down and talked to you since about a year ago.
Yeah.
So you like these products. Obviously, you're not just gonna put them on blast. Like I really don't. Like I'm gonna just assume.
No, I'd tell
I
you.
went and checked them out because I was like, dude, if Tim's fucking with them, I want to check them out.
Yeah.
I followed him, all this and that, checked him out. I was just a little confused of what the Savage thing was because I was just like, is this just like a collective of this and that? But like, so they do, like they sell products. and
exactly,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
They make and manufacture
Okay.
all sorts of lighting gear as well as like equipment for studio stuff. So, I mean, I've done
Yes.
everything from green screen this year to studio portraits and stuff, or just basic headshots, and their gear really does help and make my life easier.
Where they based out of?
Honestly, I don't know where Savage is based out of. I just know they ship me stuff. So
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
think maybe it's Ohio, but I'm just guessing at this point. But they're global. They're all over.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Is nowadays, man. I mean, I was curious as well, like where these companies are based out of. But at the same time, it's like we're in the age of the internet, to where it's like it doesn't really matter where you're.
Yeah.
Based out of. You can ship stuff anywhere. You can email somebody from wherever. It really doesn't matter,
Right.
But yeah, I was curious about that. But and again, I don't want to keep bringing up the past. I just trying to kind of see like how some things played out. But
Yeah.
and I might have this completely backwards. But last time you were on, you had just got published in. It was for Nikon, right? Or Canon?
Oh yeah, for Nikon.
Yeah,
For
and what
Nikon.
was that again? The 100.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess your thing
No,
up.
you're
What-
good,
What
bro.
was it?
You
No,
nailed
I'm
it.
curious.
Nikon 100.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
Nikon
so
100?
they're celebrating
Okay,
100 years, and that 100 years they picked like 100 up and coming photographers, and so I think I'm still on their website listed as like, one of the 100.
Yeah, and this is globally, not
Yeah.
just like America. Like you were one of the 100 that Nikon picked
Mm-hmm.
out of everybody. And this is for photography, videography,
Just photo,
whoever-
really.
oh,
Yeah.
just photo,
I think it
really.
was photo.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it could have been for whatever.
Again, I know that was in the past and like over a year ago, but dude, that's a huge accomplishment, man.
It is, bro.
I mean, that'd be equivalent to multiple things for me with the music. If there's a lot of companies I wish would put me on a list like that. That'd be that's a crazy achievement, man. Especially that's the type of thing where like I'm gonna assume that like it wasn't any kind of like contest or anything like that. I'm figuring they actually literally went and just saw who the top next 100 people are that are about to keep this shit moving, right?
Yeah, so my relationship with Nikon's pretty funny. They actually, you're going to love this, but the first time I got in contact with them, they liked a pigeon photo that I took with like the reflection of the pigeon, and they picked it and they were like, "Hey, could we share this?" And I was like, "Yeah, you're Nikon, like
Yeah, of
do whatever you
course.
want."
Yeah.
So a couple months later, they hit me up about the 100, and they're like, "Hey, we've picked 100 photographers. Like, we would love for you to be a part of it. Here's 3 photos that we liked of yours. Like, are you
Yeah.
cool?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, of course I want to be part of that." 2 months later, I switched to Sony. So
That's why I was skeptical of like, I was like, wait, Sony, Canon, Nikon, like,
Yeah.
or I know that happened, but I remember you saying like you switched, and
Yep.
I didn't want to like put you on blast on the
No, it's
camera, but
fine,
like, so
man.
like you got that and did, I mean, that's just the way it works, right? I'm sure they're not like, dude, what the hell? We just
right.
did this, and now you're working with Sony, like, you know,
Well,
or
I
not
don't-
working with Sony, but you're
Yeah,
using Sony
I wish I
products,
worked with Sony. Come on.
you know, but
Yeah.
you're using mostly Sony products, you know. And again, I wish I knew more about it, because from somebody just starting to learn, I'm just always thinking Canon and Nikon, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, even for this podcast, when I was doing some research and stuff, that's the first brands I went to look for stuff. And I had a buddy recommend, you know, GoPro for what I do, and then also I wanted to be able to throw it in my pocket, and me and Teague run out and go get footage, and
There
of
you
course
go.
it's almost like, dude, perfect for me. But I'm not doing what you're doing, you know. Which, by the way, dude, I'm gonna need some headshots, man, because I'm trying to get into a little acting, you know, in 2020 as well. You know, I've done a little bit, but I'm not even gonna consider it acting because it was such little parts and such small budget indie films and stuff. But I want to like really try to, you know, it'd be dope to get a couple little small parts, you know. I'm not trying to be a movie star or anything, but I like being on set, dude, you know, and
it's
like
fun.
that little taste that I got, even for those little parts, I'm just like, dude, I like all this, man. All this, it's kind of chaos, but it's organized at the same time, and like I like being around that, you know.
Yeah. I'm surprised you're not around it more with all your audio background.
That's what got me those little small parts, was I was doing the audio, and then, you know, I had mentioned like, hey, you know, if you ever have like a little small part for me, or like anything, and like I did it twice, you know.
There you go.
And I'm like, Dad, this is dope. Like, but again, I don't have headshots, and I don't have a manager, or, you know, stuff I want to get, stuff like that. You know, again, that's gonna be something new for me, but I don't know anything about that game or whatever. But I always wanted to act, man. But I just want to be like just dope characters and like little small parts here and there. You know, the music and is my, you know me, man. That's
Yeah.
my main thing. And right now my main thing is T. You know, we're about to release his debut, you know, album. And so that's really all this podcast and T's record is like my whole world right now. That's what we're doing, man.
Have you ever did any film, like as far as I mean, of course you do photography. But have you ever did any film?
I mean, are you saying like film as in use non-digital cameras?
Yeah, no film for like.
You mean
movie
like is he
reel
doing
films.
movies and stuff like? Because like he know. I mean, I showed him some of your stuff.
Yeah.
We know you do the advertisement commercials and stuff like that. You're asking like, does he do like actually direct like films and
Okay.
stuff like
Yeah.
that?
I was like, you mean like film
I ain't
cameras?
worried.
Because I've shot a couple film cameras, but nothing
I ain't
special.
word that right, but yeah. any
No, but
film
you're
like that.
saying like any kind of production, like
Yeah.
So I've worked on like a Netflix special before. And
Dude, really?
Yeah, I've done
I
like
didn't even know that.
behind the scenes. That was this year. That's probably why. But all I did was behind the scenes capturing, and basically it's just BTS. I'm there on set watching them, you know,
Yeah.
set up rails and gaff, and there's
Yeah.
40, 50 people.
Can you speak on what that was, or is it?
Yeah, it's called Washington's Armor.
And
So
it's on Netflix.
It's not out yet. They've capped their pilot. So now they're waiting. I think they're in the process of seeing like if it gets picked up.
Right.
Once it gets the funding and gets approved and Netflix buys in or doesn't, it becomes like a Netflix original and they film it. So that whole thing is about, and I may butcher it, I was only on set for like 1 or 2 days.
Right. And so
while
for
we were in
what
Texas.
So for what you, like you said, you got the behind the scenes stuff. So you know, do you know what their plan is to do with that? Was that more just for their personal use, or like? Because I'm just trying to pick your brain as far as your brain and just how film works and stuff. Like, what would they potentially do with that? I mean, you could, after it comes out, I guess if it takes off, people would want to see like behind the scenes, and now they can release maybe that on Netflix,
Exactly.
or stuff like that, right?
There's multiple reasons, right? So like first off, like you said, like the making of, right? Like you can produce a making of.
I love stuff like that.
And see all the different things that go into making this film come to life. Or, you know, people think like a Netflix special. It's like, yo, it's a full production. Like it's the same thing as a movie, just chopped up into different weeks. And typically they film for 8 to 10 weeks to get, you know, 3 or 4 episodes. So it could be that, or it could just be internal use, right? Like someone wants something for their reel. So maybe the DP is doing some crazy gimbal move, or, you know, the camera op is on a steady rig and he has to do something completely like ride in the bed of a truck with the steady rig on as he's strapped down. So, you know, they just want stuff like that. They want for themselves, for their personal.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Maybe it's personal, maybe it's just for this, but I guess the main thing is like, we got to get it though. Somebody has to record this. We can't go back in time, and you know, and again, not to keep bringing up me and T or whatever, but recently we've been trying to, since I got the GoPro, we've been trying to just set it up somewhere, man, and we might, you know, somebody might not ever see it. Maybe
I just like stuff like that.
Maybe one day, you know, we just collect all this footage for years and it's a documentary or something, or who knows, but like that we realize like, bro, if nobody's recording it, no, it's not getting recorded.
It didn't happen. Yeah,
exactly. Know? And so like I said, I want it anyways, and I know T does, but also like I said, who knows, dude, it might, you know, that could potentially end up being in a documentary one day, or, you know, who knows, man, you know. So again, I'm just a fan of behind the scenes. So I want to see, you know, like you think about people and, you know, like Jay-Z and stuff. It's like, why do you think all that stuff was captured, man?
Exactly.
Because they already knew, you know, maybe not how really big they were going to get, but they were like, dude, we need to document this shit. You know, maybe not in the sense of, maybe it was, but Jay-Z, it probably was like, hey, we're making history, so we need to document this. But it could have very easily been like, dude, I just want this. Like, I want to capture this moment. And if somebody's not recording it, it's gone, except in our memories, you know? And so that's dope, dude. Like, did you have like the dopest job, you know? Like, I think other than like, you know, being like a stand-up comedian or doing what I do, you know, getting to work with artists and produce and stuff like that, like, dude, like it's such a dope job, dude, you know. I know it's a hard one, you know, because it's not like any other, same as anything in entertainment. It's not like you do this and this and this and this and this and this. People can tell you how to get there, but like everybody has their own journey, and that's one thing that it's risky about it, but that's what I like about it so much, is like no two people's stories are going to be the same, and I'm going to assume that's the same in your world, right?
Definitely.
Like nobody has the same story of from the beginning to how they even got into it, to how they linked with this person, and then that ended up turning into this, to that. And then the next guy's going to say, oh, well, like, what happened with me was this, and like some, you know, 180. And it's just crazy how it's so many people, but they all literally have their own stories, man, you know? And so let's just touch a little bit on that as far as your story, you know? Again, I know bits and pieces of all this stuff, but you know, again, T, I want him to know a little bit more about you, and then the viewers and listeners and stuff like that. So I'll let you run with it, but I know it started off with around skateboarding.
Yeah. So I feel like I tell this story too often, so I'll try.
That's why I was skeptical to even ask you, but it's a part of the story, man.
For sure. I have no problem sharing it with you. I just like talking anyways, but I basically have been skating for like 10, 14 years, somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
And I was running a skate shop in the Parks Mall. It was called Industrial Ride Shop. And one day I went to like a skate park in Dallas, and I put my arm down in the middle of a mini ramp and ended up like snapping the radial head. And so I had surgery and went through that whole process, and it ended up being like, well, you can't skate for a year. Like, you can't do anything. And I was like, okay, like, this is all I do. So what do I do in my free time now? So I bought a camera. It was like a little Nikon D3200, and just started snapping photos. And I had some friends who were already like skateboard photographers, so they kind of taught me a little bit here and there of like what it was and angles and off-camera flash and how to use the equipment. And from there, it just ended up being like people were like, hey, like, you want to shoot some portraits of me? And I was like, sure, I never have, but let's do it. And
Yeah.
I started doing product photography for the company and just doing little like Instagram stuff, like trying to build a presence. So it kind of got me into like social media marketing as well as like photo. I never really dabbled into video until literally a year ago, which is a whole different beast and took me a whole different set of friends to learn all that from. But it it just kind of kept developing, and eventually my company shut down. Industrial closed.
That's right. I'm like, because I'm trying to remember the story, and
Yeah.
all right, now it's starting to come back to me.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
had
mean to
like
interrupt you. I just
no, you're fine, bro. I had like two options really. It was like, okay, continue working retail and being miserable and working in a mall, or find a job working with your camera. So I found this company through my cousin, and I think that's a big part of like my story is just networking and relationships. And so I found this company, and they basically did estate sales. So they would come into your house, you would sell your house, and all like, let's say, heaven forbid, someone passes away, right? And you don't know what to
Yeah.
do with all their stuff. They're closing on the house, yada, yada. Well, they would come in. You could take whatever you wanted as the family, but then they would price and list everything as an estate sale. And it was online. So they needed photos of every single item so it could be
Right.
categorized, notated. So I would literally shoot photos of couches, photos of books,
Anything,
It
yeah.
didn't matter. Like it could be World War II rings. It could be, magazines.
Did you ever buy any of this stuff before the
Yeah.
estate sale? Because I'm into that, and I go to estate sales and stuff. And like you said, unfortunately, it's pretty much 90% of the time somebody passed away. If not more than that.
Definitely.
And it's crazy because, dude, they just passed. And it's like, especially like for the raw ones I go to where clearly nobody has gone through and taken pictures and there's nothing moved. You're literally like, this is how they left it. And it's like, I've found somebody's ashes one time in the bottom of someone's closet in the back. Like it was literally just left how they had it. Just a really nice house, really nice area and stuff. And like, so I was like, I have to hit this one. And dude, they were just like, it's one of those where you got to keep asking, like, is it cool if I do this? Is it, you sure? Like, and they're like, dude, you can go through the drawers, everything. Like, it's whatever. And this lady apparently didn't have much family. So that's how that situation ended up. Because obviously the family would have wanted to go through and maybe do, this wasn't like that. This was just, this person didn't have anyone around, obviously. And they were like, just do whatever you want. And so I'm digging through the closet and stuff, dude, and I see this dope box, and I just thought the box was just dope. And I pull it out finally and look at it, and I'm like, I've just put it down, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is someone's ashes. And the person running the thing had no connection to the family. Like, it was somebody running it, you know? And he was just like, do you want it? And I'm like, well, not really, dude. I just was letting you know there's some ashes in here. You know what I mean? Like, and he's like, I don't know, man. Who knows what's in here, you know? And so, it's like you said, dude, random stuff. I mean, have you ever come across anything that, obviously stuff that you said you bought yourself, but have you just come across anything that crazy, like ashes?
So luckily, like most of the stuff would get labeled at the house and then shipped to the warehouse. And so
Okay.
I would shoot it there. But when I very first started, yeah, we would go to people's houses and shoot things on location. But we would have to like set up a white backdrop and drag chairs and tables across
Yeah.
these houses. There's been some pretty weird stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never found like human ashes or anything like
Right.
that. It's definitely not something I'd want to buy for sure. But
Yeah. He's like, you want to buy
That's a
it?
weird question.
I'm like, I was just interested in the box, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
like I don't know. Why would I mess with this? Like that's not for me.
Yeah, that was wild. That's probably the craziest thing I've ever found. Not the dopest, but just the craziest by far. From my, I love to dig through, garage sales, estate sales, stuff like that. Dude, I like to, I love it, dude. All the stuff in here, is antiques, and it's just somebody else's, I don't want to say trash, because again, these people passed away, but you know, you have that eye, you know. So that's dope though, man. So are you doing that much anymore though? Because
No.
again, I wouldn't know, because you're not going to be posting that stuff. Like,
Right. Yeah, no, that company, actually, I think they pulled out of the Dallas market, but
oh, okay.
I worked for them for maybe 6 months, and then I just kept getting opportunity after opportunity, and it was like, okay, stay at this full-time job, working 9 to 5, shooting, you know, toilets and whatever junk
Yeah.
comes through.
Yeah.
Not saying it's all junk, but eventually you shoot 3,000 items in one day, everything's junk
Everything
at
is,
that point.
yeah.
Everything
You're
is
like, I'm
junk.
over it. So
Man.
I could either keep doing that, or I could start like my own brand. And I had all these people, like I was doing weddings, I was doing, you know, someone would be like, hey, I just started a brand, I need some shots of the clothes and stuff, or this kind of product photography. So finally I was like, okay, I'm just going to join up with these people and try to work with all these brands. And the first 6 months of working with them, they would pay me a base pay, and it just kind of, like, they weren't doing, you know, they weren't getting clients like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
So I was just making base pay every
Right.
single. I was like, okay, well,
No growth. And
yeah.
Stuck, basically.
So finally, I just did it myself. Like, I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna figure out how to own my own business. And this was my first official year in business. I think I've been in business for a year and a half now. And I couldn't be any happier. Like, my wife works
Right.
full time with me.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she left her job 6 months ago, and
Okay.
she helps manage the business and like our time and what clients we have, and she does bill out stuff like that. And then she comes on set and she PAs, or she'll help set up my lights. She'll carry gear.
Man, see, that's a dope setup, man.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you on that one.
Dude,
Like,
I mean-
I would kill for, you know, that's a dope relationship right there, man, you know. And I'm going to put you on blast real quick, and you're going to answer regardless of how you feel, but I believe you'll tell me the truth. But is she, like, good at it too? Like, is she picking it up? Is she?
No,
I don't expect her to be as and I don't mean this negatively, but like, I just think that you're just born to, you have a special eye, you know, and like, are you teaching her how to get that, or does she already have like an eye, or does she just, you know, again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot to where you, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, did you like hit the jackpot on, like, bro, I got like a dope, like, we work, you know, well, obviously you're gonna work well together, you're married, but like, I'm just saying, take that out of the picture. Is she, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
holding it down?
He's trying to get me in trouble.
I'm trying to word it around so you don't.
No. Look. All right. So
I'm trying to word it
first
so
off,
you don't.
My wife she is creative, right? Like, she is into a lot of art, and she's probably more knowledgeable than I am. Maybe not in like the creation of it, but as far as like knowing the history. So she has her bachelor's in history.
Oh, okay.
Okay. She went to school in London and did like
Wow.
a semester there, all on film photography, and loved it. The reason why she quit doing photography in general was because she is an introvert and does not like, she just doesn't deal well.
The networking and building relationships and
But at the same time, she spent her work career scheduling and talking and doing things for like dentists. So she is really good on the phone, really good in meetings, really good at emailing. Like, she has a full set of skills that I don't have. She's been in that industry that's more of like the commercial business, like, as to where
Right.
I'm just a creative. Like, I can show up to a set and make. Am I allowed to curse on here?
Yeah.
All right, make shit happen, right? Like,
Yeah.
like, I can tell you why it should be lit this way. This is my opinion. I can show it to you. I can make sure everything's running and
Right.
operating. Where your issue is, you know, what you're looking for, how to get this effect or that effect. She's the person that can say, all right, we have this. Okay, this is who you need. This is who you haven't paid. This is this. Oh, here's this
Okay,
light.
yeah.
Like, she is literally, like, if I am, you know, Y, then she's Z. Like, everything that I'm not, she is. And that's
Yeah,
just
and
in our
that's it.
life in general.
And that's kind of what I was saying is, you know, that's why I was trying to see if you could separate that, but that's what it is. So
Yeah.
no need to separate it. That's just, it is what it is, and that's just the life you're living. You know?
But she has been in my office for 6 months, and I'm like ready to kick her out of there.
Yeah, because
No,
I
'cause
mean,
we're
you're
right
around,
there
you
with
can only
each
be
other.
around somebody so much, man. That's just keeping it real.
Yeah.
you
Well, that's,
know?
I mean,
That's what they say. It's an improvement. If it's somebody you meant to be with, it's an improvement, not a change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah, it's definitely, it's an improvement.
But you're still not gonna want to be even if you love somebody to death, you're just not gonna not want to. I just think it's just the way the human brain or psyche or anything emotions work is like, dude, you just can't be around somebody that.
No, that isn't even our
much.
issues, bro. Like, I'll tell you the
That
truth.
would be mine, I guess.
I'll give you our issue. So we have this big office, right, with
Yeah.
all this different like gear and everything in it.
Yeah.
But yet my desk is right here, and hers is a corner to my desk. So she's literally like 2.5 feet away from me. That wouldn't be that big of a deal. But we have 180 pounds, 160 pounds worth of dog. We got two German shepherds, and they both come in and lay at your feet. So like, I'm trying to work. She's asking me something.
And you're
I've got a
just-
shepherd on one foot here, another one there, 2 cats coming in the room. I'm like, bro, like, I need
some space.
Yeah,
literally.
I need to be creative. Like, I need
Yeah.
too much clutter, too many bodies around me. But our animals love us, and
That's when you just, one night you just dip off and then you get some cubicles and you set it up and you just show up to work the next morning and there's just a wall all of a sudden in between y'all,
yeah, I've already, since we're gonna be starting that podcast for KillaFramez, I've already told her where her desk is moving. It's just across in the
Yeah.
office, just across. But it'll work
That's
out.
cool,
Like everything,
man.
dude. I love working with her. She definitely keeps me on track, and
Yeah, it's really
it's a
dope.
blessing to have someone that you trust that much on your team. Because you always trust your team members, but there's always like that underlying like, well, what if this happens? How will they react? It's like,
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
we're married. Like, she ain't going nowhere. Like,
Exactly. And
To use face.
he's like, yep, damn right. You know what I'm saying?
like
Yeah.
stuck.
Right, that's what you're thinking, right.
Straight
Yeah,
up.
she better abide. That's what he's thinking.
That's the opposite.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So let's see. We're gonna try to not keep you here forever. I'm gonna do my best, y'all. I know I usually keep this shit going on forever and ever. Oh, dude, one thing I wanted to ask you about, and again, we talked about this a little bit last time. I was gonna see if anything had changed, but just dude, when do you sleep?
I go to bed around like 2 to 4 in the morning normally, and then I'm up at like 9 or 10.
Right, and the reason I asked
Some
is for
hours.
2 reasons. Again, I follow you, and we were even texting the other night. And it was about 2 or 3 or whatever. And I'm sure you texted me knowing I was up, and I was up
Yep.
working. Otherwise, that just would have been rude as shit to text somebody at 2:30. But like, you know what I mean. But I figured like you knew I was.
Yeah,
up.
I figured you
and,
were
and I
the
was
same way as
editing.
me.
I was sitting right there editing, working on his album. It was 2:30 a.m. or whatever, and I was right behind you. I was about to shut it down and stuff too, but same as you, I was like, I just want to finish this one piece though before I go to bed or whatever. So, but like I said, so it was the 2 reasons I wanted to ask. One, just because I see you working, and a lot of the stuff you do is almost all of it is at night, the shooting and stuff. Like, when do you do that? Like when you're doing the building, all the dope, the nighttime shots.
Yeah.
Is that 10 at night or is it 4 and 8? Like when?
It depends on the building. Like every building's got different like security or when you can get in or when the doors lock and so like there are certain ones, and just so what he's talking about. He's talking about like scaling the roofs, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I allegedly do.
Illegal.
Don't know anything about it. It's Photoshop and a drone. But there are certain buildings like, it closes at, like the doors lock at 6. Like you're not getting in. So you go in and depending on the season, you're like, okay, well the sun doesn't set till 7. So I'm going to go in here, go to the stairwell,
And camp out.
go this way, go up the elevator, go back to the stairwell, go up this and chill by the door until 7 when sun's about to set. And then I'll go up, allegedly.
Yeah.
And
this is all, fictional. We're
yes. Hypothetically, I would then go up and shoot my photos.
Yeah, if one were to be doing this, that's what I'm asking is how would one do that? And like, so let's say, how many times has one been caught by the cops?
So that's a big 0 for me.
It really is.
Yeah, I've been allegedly caught by security. But
Yeah, but that's security.
you're in a
so,
car.
yeah.
yeah, I mean they're normally a lot meaner than the cops, but I've shot events where it's like, a ton of cops are there. The chief of Dallas police is there, and
Yeah.
I'll just ask him like, how do you feel about people getting up on the rooftop shooting photos? And he's like, well, sounds like people better lock their doors. Like, I don't care. I don't got time for that. So
Yeah.
I don't think, DPD really cares that much about it as much as, the business owner or the establishment.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna.
Those dudes hate it.
Exactly.
I've been messaged by them before.
Well,
How'd
I
you
would
do
hate
this?
it. I would hate it too. Yeah, I mean, have you ever got stuck at the top of one? Like, I mean, what if all the doors and stuff get locked while you're camping out? You finally go up. You're getting all these shots for hours or however long you stay up there. And have you ever tried to be like, cool, let's go, and now all of a sudden you're stuck?
No.
Really?
You got to take precautions, bro. What do you
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I didn't know if you maybe slipped up one time and you forgot to put something in a door or something, or you get stuck on the damn top of a building in Dallas and now you got to wait until they open it, whatever,
you're chilling up
It's
there for a week. No one goes on the roofs in Dallas, so you would be stuck up there. You probably have to call someone on yourself. Be like, hey, I'm up here and I'm stuck. No, I'm probably one of the more what's the word I'm looking for to you? It's like thought out, like
Well planned.
there we go.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
well planned, yeah.
Like anyone that I'm gonna do, if it's a new one, I wouldn't go with a group of people, right? Like most of the time, I only like to go up there with like 3 people tops. And so one of the worst things that people ask me all the time is, "Hey, bro, I'm gonna hire you to do some photos. Take me up to a roof." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Do you know how like risky that is as a business owner? Even just as a photographer?
Yeah,
Like you slip and fall and die, and it's on me." Like,
It's like, I don't think your insurance is gonna cover
Yeah,
that when you tell
exactly.
them what happened.
Yeah. Like, hey, we didn't get a permit to shoot on this roof, and I took someone up there, and they slipped off.
We were trespassing, no permit, but I mean, you're gonna pay for
Allegedly.
this, They're like, hell no.
Exactly. So, you just really have to be intelligent about it and know who you're going with and what you're doing. And I have a certain group of friends that I do it with, and
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I've noticed. Seems about like the same 2 or 3 people I've kind of noticed in pictures and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And I know like I said, I always see you doing like some crazy stuff or whatever. But I don't know the names of these individuals. But there is, unless it's a couple of them. But it seems like the same guy doing like really risky shit.
yeah. Who is it?
I don't know his name again. I'd have to go through go
Is he
through
the one
him.
like hanging off
A
the
lot
side of the
time,
building?
Yeah.
That's Caesar.
And I'm like, bro,
Yeah, Caesar's got
you
a
trying
death
to
wish.
death wish.
Yeah, he's got one.
Like that's
We've discussed it.
and there's a name for that, right? When you climb not parkour, but like for the people who
Urban exploring, Urbex,
basically, I guess.
or are you
I
saying
thought
like
there was another-
daredevils or what?
No, I mean that's what they are, but I just thought there was a name for people who do the hanging off the building with the one hand with 2 fingers and then 1 finger and then stuff like that. And I'm not saying he's going that far, maybe he is, I don't know, but I've seen pictures of him pretty much doing that stuff like that. And I'm just like dude, there was one where he was just hanging off a building but he was taking pic. I'm just like, what are you doing,
bro?
Dude? And obviously he gets a thrill from it and he enjoys it.
Yeah,
no one's got a gun to his head.
Yeah. All right, the best story I have of Caesar. So we went up on this roof.
What's his last name?
I don't know.
We'll talk off air because I know a Caesar who's a really dope photographer. Might be the same dude.
Okay, I'll hook you up with it after.
Yeah.
But no, that's another rule. You don't ever talk about it.
No, I was gonna say well played. My bad.
So Caesar, and for those of you who don't know, like this kid just has no fear, right? Like he's young. He doesn't really think. Maybe we have the same beliefs, existentialism. Like maybe we both are just like, fuck it. If I go, I go. If I survive, I survive, kind of deal. But this kid, we're sitting up on this roof, and it's probably 700 feet up, and we're at the very top. It's been raining all day. It's foggy as hell.
But that's your prime time, right?
Exactly. He grabs onto this rope that's connected to like the lightning cable. So it's really sturdy, right? Like the cable itself is secured around the building. So if it gets hit by lightning, it can absorb.
It can withstand that.
Yeah, it absorbs all of that. Mm-hmm. Well, there's like a nice rope that's been secured there. And he's like, hey, shoot the photo. I'm going to hang my whole body off. And I was like, no, bro. Like it's wet. You're in Adidas, right? Like you're not wearing anything, and you're holding onto this rope. And he goes, it's secure. And he pulls it and goes, oh. And I was like, bro, like I almost watched this kid just die. And
he's laughing and
yeah,
shit,
and he's
right?
laughing, and he
Yeah.
still goes back and does it. He just grabs onto the metal wire this time, and I'm like, dude, like,
So I mean, again, I don't know this guy, but he doesn't have a death wish. He just clearly, or does he, man? I mean,
it's hard to say.
I just think some people have something in them to where they just that thrill. They just really, really enjoy that thrill. You know, I
Yeah.
don't think they want to die.
Right.
I'm just speaking in general. Some of them, again, I don't know these people personally, but I mean, even on YouTube, you see people doing crazy shit, and they don't seem like they're like depressed and up there. Like they seem good, in a good mood, and they're like laughing. And dude, maybe there's something wrong with them. Shit, but what even is, what even is wrong, or what even is crazy? Like, you know what I mean? I don't even want to try to define that or whatever, but it's not normal, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, depression comes in many forms, right? Like,
right.
The happiest people in the world are always the ones.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it's
comedians and shit, you know?
I mean, I remember just this, I think it was this year, Ben Ramers, like, he's a professional skateboarder. I've looked up to that dude forever.
Yeah.
He rides for Enjoy, like the Panda Company, right?
Yeah.
Like, committed suicide.
Dude, I didn't hear about that.
One of the happiest dudes you could ever see, like,
I did
but
not
he
hear about
has
that.
demons that he doesn't showcase,
Exactly.
right?
Straight
So,
up. Yeah.
I mean, I think we all have these like underlying kind of thoughts about, what is existence and why does it really matter or why it doesn't. And we all showcase it in a different way. Some people use their voice, some people use, visual, some people just use sound. Like, there's so many different ways to like display something.
Yeah.
And still not show like the whole truth. And I think it's because it's also like society views that as a form of weakness, right? To be so exposed and so open, and that's one of the things,
Well, we're starting to break that down though, slowly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because now we're sitting here and we're like, I forget the exact terminology for it, but we're shaming people as a society, right? Like we're trying to be the ones punishing them and telling them like, you can't do that because of this, or how dare you call her fat. Like, it's like, if it's the truth, like, is it, so what, we can't tell someone that for their health that they should probably go watch what they're eating, or they're gonna get diabetes. Like, it's it's just a really weird time in society.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's a double-sided. I mean, that like, I wasn't viewing it from, I have before, but just in this moment, I was thinking on the other end of the spectrum of, but like you said, I mean, I do believe that mental illness definitely has a lot more people are talking about it.
Yeah, that's true.
In the past 5, 6, 7 years, especially this last 2 or 3 years, because you finally got people, Kid Cudi, Charlamagne the God, and all people, that have big platforms and people listen to, and part of the reason that one of the main reasons that I finally started going to seek help was Charlamagne the God. I watched an interview. He's always talking about mental health, but I watched an interview where he was getting interviewed, and he was just like, man, I just, one of my biggest regrets was not going and talking to a psychiatrist or a psychologist, as early as I could have, but instead I better late than never, but I just did, and I he just really pushes like, go and talk, man, go and talk, find some help, find somebody that you resonate with, and like I said, and that's just one example of a lot of people putting light onto the situation. But then like there's the other side, like you said, to where now people are shaming everyone, and everybody wants to be the most wokest person, and everybody wants to, I don't know, man. Like, that's just
that's a whole rabbit hole.
I was about to say I don't want to go down that hole.
I mean, the truth is like, I just focus on what I'm doing, and the people who are going with me, like, those are my team members. Everyone else, I don't really, even think about, or I'm just like,
and that's not anything negative, or you can only do so much. I mean, you can't help everybody, even if you tried.
Yeah, and I still get that question too. Like, going back to where this all started is like, people think like, what's wrong with you? Why do you go? Are you gonna die for a photo? And it's like, I take really calculated risk. That's like how I phrase it. Is like, everything I do is very calculated, and I'm doing it for myself, not for anyone else, right? Like, I don't. Yeah. Instagram's cool. Like, I'll always print my photos. I'll always share you know, my journey and whatever I'm doing. And like, I started from a street photographer to now I work in production and film and video and with a bunch of amazing people. And I still go do what I consider to be my art. Just because it's not, you know, fine art, it's not boudoir or, you know, the shapes of human bodies and stuff, like, doesn't mean that it isn't my art. Like, shooting pigeons will always be a part of my life. And I know that's weird, but like, you know, when they started putting those little hats on the pigeons in Austin, I know that's terrible. You're gluing a hat to a pigeon's head.
Oh, they were gluing them on there?
Yeah, they're gluing them on there.
Well, I guess how else would they?
Exactly.
I saw that, but I didn't think about it.
But I was like, yo, like, I kind of want to drive all the way to Austin and kind of chase these pigeons. Like, just so I can have my own version of it. You know, I could Photoshop it, I guess, but it doesn't, it's not the satisfaction that, like, I like. I like to go sit in the middle of Dallas for 30 to 40 minutes and try to get one photo of a pigeon. Like the same pigeon, just harass that fool, give him treats. Like we literally, like we have jokes that they call me like Birdman. And like,
really?
Yeah, they're like, how do you get all these pigeons? I'm like, bro, it's just practice, time.
You built relationships with them, you know,
I got friends who will literally, like, they're in like the Netherlands and they'll take photos of pigeons and then tag me in it and be like, yo, here's your homies. I'll be like, that's right. That's
Dude, yeah, that's crazy, man. And by the way, the pigeon thing, to me, that's not weird even the slightest, you know, that's, you know, people take pictures of all kinds of shit, and that's something that you like to take pictures of, man.
People
and again,
take bananas to walls.
Right? People, I guess.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
you know about that?
Yeah, they do.
No, I'm not. I'm lost.
Are you slacking? You don't know what?
That's art. That's art.
That's art, Basel, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Basel.
Yeah.
What?
In Miami, they have the event every year, right?
What?
Art Basel.
Art Basel. No, I don't
You
know.
never heard of it. It's like a week-long art show in Miami every year in December. I went to it last year.
I'm out of the loop big time, I guess, man.
So they do this art show, and it's a whole bunch of different like brands and everyone. All these artists from all over the world are showing their art off there. Yeah. And I mean, bro, like pieces sell for millions of dollars. Do you remember that video I did, Black Tape? It was about that was at Art Basel. That was at one of the venues.
So it's in Vegas?
No, it's in Florida. Did I say Vegas?
I thought that was.
No, you said
the
Florida.
Black Tape.
You said mine.
I just thought that project was in Vegas.
He's all over the world, but that was in Miami. It's always in Miami.
Okay.
And so I went and covered the event.
Right.
And I shot a video for him, but it's literally just a bunch of artists doing their shit and putting it out there, right? Like there are cooks who go out there. Like the year I went, there was that's where I met that chef at, Michael K. And he did like a whole art exhibit on his food. So he served food that was edible that looked like nothing but drugs, like shrooms, coke, like everything.
Okay, I remember
all that stuff. It looked,
that's right.
It looked real. I mean, it wasn't most of it, I would assume, but it looked real as hell.
I'm gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to attend that. I didn't. Yeah. I try to keep up with. I'm an art lover, man. So I have to. But real quick, I just wanted to touch this reverse a little bit. Are you still doing you were doing like the inner, your sleep patterns? A year ago when we talked, you were saying that you weren't really sleeping. You were just doing, what's it called? The intermittent sleeping or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
I'm sure I butchered the word, but you were, when I had you on about a year ago, you were saying you were maybe doing it or gonna do it.
I thought about, I was trying it and attempting it, and it's where basically like you sleep for much shorter periods of time, and then you take naps throughout the day.
Yeah,
I failed at that terribly.
What it was. Yeah, okay, so that didn't work out for you.
No, it's horribly hard, and eventually, like it takes your body like 6 weeks to adjust. So I literally made it like a week. Like I literally, as I was coming on the show, I think I had probably attempted it like twice.
Yeah, because like now I do remember you had just started.
I had heard about it, and I thought it would be a great idea.
Yeah, because Kanye does that.
Yeah,
and a lot of people who, what even is time to them?
Right.
They just work, and then they somehow still get their little naps in and stuff.
I mean, when you're on the go like that and you're moving and doing shows and having all that, it makes a lot more sense. Like you hop on the private jet, you got a 2-hour flight, sleep for 40 minutes, wake up, go to sleep for 2 hours. That's like the longest amount of time that they sleep throughout the day. Mm-hmm. But I mean, psychologically,
that's so damaging.
I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know anyone who's done it successfully.
Yeah.
And not lost their damn mind.
Yeah.
Like.
It's I mean, there's a ton of studies on sleep.
Who originated? I think it was like Einstein, right? Or Tesla. It was one of the two. Like
Tesla.
yeah,
Yeah.
The internet, and I mean, even yes, we use his theories now, but some out there theories, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. And again, people do it, obviously. And again, I don't know these people personally, but it seems like they all go fucking crazy. They're not sleeping, dude.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I get sleep, bro, but I definitely have some form of insomnia where there are days I'll only sleep for 4 hours.
Yeah,
There are
and
days
I have a lot of trouble sleeping. That's another reason why I wanted to kind of ask you, because again, I'm trying to get like you, man. I'm trying to I just grinding all day every day, but I need to sleep, but I don't want to be sleeping the day away or this and that. And same as you, like I said, we were texting each other 3 or 4 in the morning or whatever, but then I still got to be up at this time. So I was just wondering, like, when the hell do you sleep? Because I think about that for myself. I'm like, I got to fit it in, man. But even like, last thing I'll say about this is even when I do get time to sleep, I still can't, because insomnia will get me that one night that I finally get a chance to sleep and night terrors are hit, or and my insomnia, or I'll just be thinking about something on T's song or something where I'm like, dude, I'm literally about to get up and fire the whole studio up just to fix that one piece. Like it's messing with my head or whatever,
Do you use a mask at all, like a blackout mask?
Dude, a lot of people have recommended that to me, and I haven't done it yet.
That's a cheap fix, bro.
Yeah.
But like a lot of like the issue that you and I probably face is like blue light. So like we are constantly staring at computer screens and phones.
That's what I do all day
Right.
until I go to bed.
So that can trick your mind into thinking you should be awake. And so like I remember I had mentioned to you sensory deprivation tanks.
Yes.
Still love those,
You're still
bro.
doing that?
I still go.
And I still haven't done it once.
Yeah, you're slacking. Let's get you a Groupon. But they're
seriously, I want to take
great.
tea with me too.
Yeah, you just go and float, and you sit inside this like 8-foot tank full of like Epsom salt, like thousands of pounds of Epsom salt, so your whole body floats. And you sit there in the dark, and you're just stuck with your own brain for like an hour or two. Like
you do it for about 2 hours now?
No, I mean I'm still doing like an hour.
Okay.
But I'll buy a Groupon. I probably do it like 2-3 times a year. I wish I could do it every month, because the feeling you get coming out of that is amazing. But as far as like your sleep schedule, you probably just need to like kill all the light, all ambient light.
Yeah.
Like you just go buy a little $5 mask, like you would on an airplane.
Right.
Slip it over your eyes.
Yeah,
That's
dude. I need to get on that, because I got to figure something out. Let's see, man. Y'all got anything for him? Again, I don't want to keep you on here forever.
No, you're good.
You're good.
Yeah?
Yeah, most definitely.
Okay.
Solid guess.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank
my
you for
boy,
joining.
man.
Yeah, bro.
Let's see. Are we gonna wrap it up or not? But before we do wrap it up, man. I know, like you even just said earlier, you were like, just your schedule will be clear. So you think, and then all of a sudden this happens, and same again, just with it being in that industry, it's pretty, you don't really know. I mean, you do your best to plan, obviously, and stuff, and as far as booking and all that type of stuff like that, but it's still pretty all over the place. Do you have anything for 2020 like set, or is it all just like, you just literally you have no idea, or do you have an idea? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I already have stuff lined up for January and February.
Let's chop a little 5 minutes on like just like the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to.
Sure.
If you want to even mention that.
I can
yet
give
or
you
not.
a little bit. Yeah, of course.
I want to know a little bit about what just
what my goals are.
Yeah,
Okay.
goals, the podcast, and anything else you have.
Cool. So KillaFramez is the company we're establishing, and it's about to have its LLC.
Okay.
Then we start all of that. We've got 5 team members that are core, and probably like 10 other people that are just a part of the collective and help contribute in little pieces.
Right.
We're gonna do a podcast where we talk about like what media is to us, what's going on in the industry, new gear, what we think about it, whether it's worth you spending your money or not. Other than that, I mean, I want to continue working with brands with KillaFramez, we basically want to create content for brands. So let's say Nike has an ad that, they're coming out with a new product. Right. We want to be able to pitch them as a creative collective and say, hey, We can make, the marketing content with it. We can make the photography. We can do the video. Here's our bid. This is, this is our media kit and our portfolio. And we've already done like our first one with this boot company called Klarity. And it's been super successful. We did a giveaway. Okay. We created a bunch of like custom videos and photos for them, and I have 3 creatives on the project, so they drop 5 photos a month for the next like 2 months. We've been doing it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's kind of like an ongoing process of just always creating content for brands and trying to turn it into revenue. So that media churns so fast these days. Like it's impossible to do it all by yourself. So I just surrounded myself with a bunch of people. But as far as like what I'm personally doing, I've got a couple weddings already booked for this year, which I don't think I'll ever stop shooting weddings. Like
the money's too good.
It's good money for sure. I have a couple productions lined up, which I'd rather not speak them too early.
Like I said, say what you want. Just and we'll talk off air
for sure.
more. I just for the viewers and listeners, especially for people who this is the first time they're, ever, hearing about you or whatever, they'll follow you, whatever. It'd be nice for them to know, just know about you a little bit.
Yeah. And there's one last project. It's a personal project. So like, you can see. So last time we talked, I didn't really do video, right?
Yeah, you just I think
starting to dabble.
Yeah. To dabble in it. Yeah.
So this year it's been nothing but video for me. Like I've surrounded myself with people who are better and are in the industry and have worked on sets. Like one of my best friends, again, Brent, has gone through and shot for Infinity and did video work for them and all these other brands. So like I go and work with these people to learn their skills so that I can use them for myself and better myself.
Exactly.
And basically that's all I focus on this year. And my next project that I have, we just started, we've already done our first shoot for it, but it's a personal thing. And it's called Port 80. And so the Instagram is just blank right now, but we've already done our first series. So we like have this concept. I don't want to say too much because Taylor has to talk on it. But it's about
just say what you want.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It's about like virtual reality, kind of integrating and technology integrating into our lives.
Yeah.
And how eventually it's going to be such a big part that it may or may not be for our benefit. So we're taking like 4 people and putting them in this situation.
Okay.
So it'll be still images and video clips, but nothing long form. It's not a short film. It's not a video project. It's not a photo. It's just leave it for you to decipher.
Yeah.
And the Instagram will be really well laid out so you can see each and every person's little 3-piece segment with like swipe carousels.
Dude, that's dope.
And so Taylor does virtual reality projections, 3D mapping, scoping stuff. Like he's a videographer, but he's definitely like a graphic designer, right? Yeah. And so I met him through working with Sweet Tooth, and basically we just wanted to do something for ourselves.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna give you 4 people's stories, show you a little bit about them, and show you what the alternative is. And then you get to make the decision on, because you got to think about it, bro. Like right now, I think we kind of touched on this last time. I may not have, but like, let me ask. I'm going to ask T because I want to know. Okay. All right, so we figure out as a society how to give a blind man sight, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the blind man has optical zoom and can look across a stadium and read that person's what's on their cell phone or what's on their T-shirt, right?
Yeah.
So this dude can read. He can basically zoom from, I'd say what we have, like 24 millimeter vision, all the way to like 300 mil. He's basically a camera. He could look at someone's face and get their Instagram, Facebook, where they're from, any information he wants because he has a bionic eye. Okay?
Yes.
You're not blind, but they say you could have that eye. Would you take the eye?
No.
Why not?
I like my vision.
Okay.
Everything I've seen up to this point has been exciting enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the next thing is...
But it's not going to take away from... It's not going to change your, life. Like, you're going to start... Like, you'll still be you doing what you do. You'll just have beyond improved vision.
I mean, it's open to interpretation.
And I'm just thinking out loud for myself.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just like
great.
wondering what would I do, and what's crazy is that you could apply that to not even just an eye. It
No,
could
of course,
be-
that's the point. Because what's next is the arm, right?
I was gonna literally say hands or arms or anything. It's like
Now that's different. Extremities, like I might want to get a bionic arm or something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
even though you have good arms,
Yeah.
Okay. So then we say, all right, well, you can keep your legs, or you could run 62 miles an hour.
Oh, I'm definitely running 62 miles per hour.
Okay.
That's been a dream of mine.
So the point is eventually technology is advancing so fast that these are the options we're going to have available.
yeah, and this is not
Like,
this is real shit.
so here's where it really gets fishy. I mean, all of it's fishy to me, bro. Like, and that's why we're doing this concept, is to show people, like, it's going to happen. Like, you're going to have the options.
That's
so
what I'm saying. This is real. It's
what
gonna
life are you
happen.
going to live? Are you going to live, this cyberpunk life where, I mean, because think about it. Eventually, your mind can be downloaded into a database, right?
Yeah.
And you could live forever, right? Like, you
Yes.
could literally live 1,000 years. Why
Yeah.
in the world would you want to live 1,000 years? I mean, now I have a different view on life, but
Right.
would you still be you at that point, or would
No.
you just be data and numbers?
You would be a reincarnation of what you already. It's not even a reincarnation because you're still.
gonna
Yeah, I was
say.
gonna
there.
say that's
It's-
not.
It's like you just this aura. Just
Yeah.
like I don't know. When it gets to this point in conversation, I always think of Rick and Morty stuff when they have the gaseous little bubble and it's filled with all the diamonds and gems and everything. It knows all knowing everything has been here for millions and billions and trillions of years. That's what I
Right,
think
right.
about because that's the only thing you can kind of compare that to. It never died off. So it never had the chance to reincarnate. Now, if someone could reincarnate me every so often, that'd be different.
Right.
But I don't want to be here for 1,000 years straight, just like wondering and
But you're
learning.
you're willing to give up your legs and your arms.
That was another thing. Am I gonna get to keep my penis?
I mean, who knows?
Damn, nobody.
What are you
brought
gonna
that
use
up,
it for?
dog.
It's
It-
your whole legs.
But
hip
if
down.
80% of the population doesn't even reproduce that way anymore, and they just re-upload themselves into a new thing, like, what's the
Nah.
point of having a reproductive organ?
Yeah, no, I get what you're getting at. Only thing, the eyes, I wouldn't touch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But eventually, if they already have your arms and your legs, they can just turn you off and take your eyes too. Like
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And
I
that's
have a
taking
problem
it like
with
a
control.
whole other,
Well, I mean, why would they do? Why would
it's
we
a very
want to be
realistic-
anything other than human?
Right. Like I said, or like I was gonna say is like, and I love conversations like this because I like ethics. I like discussing ethics and just where everybody's different perspectives and where, what they think about things and their values and this and that. Because, you're gonna have this end of the spectrum where they're like, this is the body, God or whoever gave me, and like, it's wrong to mess with that,
Right.
and but then that's where crazy ethics questions can come in, where it's like, man, well, but this dude has some cancer or something that's starting to grow through his own, so you're telling me like it's a sin for him to take that off and get it better, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
But
I
then,
mean,
and then
that's-
if they're gonna be like, well, that's different, where it's like, well, you just said that it was,
Exactly.
and that's why I like ethics so much, because it's like you got to really stick to what you,
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
you're saying.
I asked this to my father-in-law just the other day. It was like, we were talking about a lot of things. Like we were talking about how he's on keto, and me and the wife are eating more plant-based now. We were talking about,
You watch Game Changers?
what, Game Changers?
Yeah, you did?
I've seen that.
I
Was it
just
good?
watched a couple of days ago.
That's the Netflix one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So yeah, I was like, kind of, we're dabbling in it, but it's impossible, really, for some like people of our lifestyle who just can't every single day meal
Yeah.
prep, or it's
you
damn
could,
impossible.
but it's
It's rough,
damn
dude.
near impossible.
Well, you're running around trying to keep
Exactly.
food cold or warm, or it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But basically, I asked him, because he had talked about religion, and they are very religious, and he said something along the lines of like, well, when this planet's done, like we somehow got on the terms of like, okay, well, what if we move to Mars? And I was like, is that against God's will though? Like, and he was like, well, no, because God wants us to do what's best for us. And I was like, but I thought that like we're on His earth, and what He has planned is final. And of course, my wife shushed me, but it's.
But I've never
ethics-
thought of that, because again, I'm not very well versed or whatever, but I mean, I know that according to those people, and I don't even want to. I hate that term or whatever, but they, like you just said, everything's supposed to take place on this earth.
Mm-hmm.
This God made this earth, but like that's crazy to think about. Like, well, what about another planet though?
Yeah.
Like, does everything go out the window now? Like, or yeah, and dude, all this shit is gonna happen, dude. Like, whether
I give it less than 50 years, and we're
Yeah.
facing that kind of like it's gonna be
Those
humans.
are the decisions that we have to
it's
make.
humans versus cyborgs at that point. Like, and eventually it's just humans versus technology. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, look at like Elon Musk is definitely crazy, but look
I
at the
think
way
he's not human, bro. I don't want to be like he's an alien, but dude, if I've watched enough of his interviews to where like, dude, his mannerisms and the way he even just simply moves, and the way he speaks, and even like the way he looks, there's just something different about that guy.
For sure, for sure.
Like again, there's a lot of people like he's an alien. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying he's something different, man.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
and I mean, but look at the
is.
way he discusses technology. Like when people are like, well, technology will never take us over. He's like, AI is really smart. Like right now, they have.
He's terrified of it.
Oh, everyone should be.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you guys understand that. I mean, I know y'all do, but what I'm saying is, I don't think the general public understands that. What was it like? The first iPhone dropped like maybe 30 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And
Definitely,
look at it
not
now.
30. It's not that old. Man.
But that's what I'm saying. Even if it was 30 years, bro.
Yeah.
Like we're 30. In 30 years, we've gone from flipping a cell phone and being able to play Snake to we can talk to anyone and grab any information and watch any video at any point ever.
Yeah.
And you think there's not a supercomputer collecting all that information? Like,
well, that's a given. We know, like, obviously all that information's getting, like Gary Vee always talks about. He's like, y'all know that in the future, if it's probably going to be your grandkids, but if not them, for damn sure, the next one after that, they're going to be able to go back and look at everything that everybody did.
Yeah,
You
data
and
mining
everybody,
for sure.
What you've done, this and what you looked up, what you've seen, this and that.
I just think that
all
we're going to
stuff.
face like a moral battle of what is, like you said, ethical and what is, not moral. Like it's not, like, oh, well, if you do this, you're no longer human. If you're this much computer,
well, where's that line?
I mean, they're already putting microchips in people just to scan yourself into your own building, right? For
Exactly.
protection.
Yeah.
I think it's like Sweden or something.
Yeah, and there's some companies now where they've actually allowed to get chips put in them. I think again, this is not.
I know
America,
Tesla's doing it. That's one of their things.
And it's from little simple stuff to as far as they can go in their break room and buy whatever with the chip. They just walk up and get it, and it just scans it.
Yep.
All the way to other stuff like tracking them and stuff like that, dude. And like they willingly,
willingly did it. Same thing. Like you willingly took an arm, but who's to say that arm can't just be turned off? So you gave up a human arm, and that's. It's just one of those things, bro. Like, that's why I'm trying to bring an awareness to it to say, like, look, like, we're going to face these challenges, but I'm doing it in my way that is, like, this is my artistic expression.
Exactly.
You interpret whatever you want from it. I would just like you to view it, right? Like, I would just like you to see that, like, the journey, you do not have to go one route. Like, there are options. They may be harder.
Right.
They may not be. You may not live forever. You may die the very next day. But, I mean, isn't that every day you get into a car? Like,
yeah.
Every day you turn the
you
car
leave the
on,
house.
you do anything.
Anything, yeah.
So, I mean, this year is all about like personal growth. So I want to work with Taylor and learn this VR stuff so I can help showcase it. I want to just continue growing and focus on what I'm doing.
Right.
And I want to bring awareness to different things that I think are important.
Right.
And whether or not they're really important or not, I don't think it matters. I think just the fact that I enjoy doing it.
But yeah, if you enjoy it and you have a passion for it, then like shit. Pigeons all the way to
that's it, bro.
All the way to this shit we're talking about. This is very serious stuff.
Yeah. Just be prepared.
For me,
Cyber
it's
pigeons.
more, I want to be mental health. I want to make sure I put that on a platform, and then that could go all the way to whatever stupid shit or whatever that whatever. But same as you, dude. If I enjoy doing it, and especially if I can hopefully make it monetize shit, and hopefully. then there we go. That's all I care about.
That's it. You just keep doing what you love.
I love it, and you gotta live though, so you gotta monetize it, and even if not, there's shit I do still, you know, for free, making the cigar boxes. Well, even though I sell them, you know, but that's for me, you know. It just so happens some people want to buy them, and just, you know, whatever, dude. You know, it's one of the main reasons I fuck with you, man, because you're passionate, you do what you love, you've found a way to monetize it. Same thing I'm trying to do, same thing I'm doing. And it's crazy that it's been about a year, and like just seeing the growth from both of us, dude.
Yeah, bro.
It's really dope, man. So last thing I'll ask you is the TA Visuals. Is that simply just your handle, or is that the name of the actual like your original company? I know you've listed other, you know, you've got this and this now, but TA Visuals, that's your actual company.
That's
though,
it.
right?
My TA Visuals LLC. That is my business.
The LLC. Okay, yeah.
That's what I've established for me.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure, or make sure that it was even still a thing and not just your handle.
No, when people write me checks, like that's what it goes to.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year was TA Visuals established?
Officially a year and a half ago.
2017.
I would guess so. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Maybe
so you've done a
18,
lot in a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah, I try not to like even, because I can't keep track of anything. My wife puts a schedule down.
Yeah, dude. You know, I'm same way. What even is
time,
bro?
Exactly.
You know, weeks get away from me to where I'm like, you know, just in days. And, you know, if weeks are getting away from me, then you damn sure days are getting away from me. Like, what day of the week is it again? You know. But again, man, we could talk about that forever, dude. I'm gonna hold you hostage for just a quick minute. Let me just give a shout out. And dude, you know what? I'm not even gonna read this time, man. But dude, again, you know Josh Lester. Shout out to Josh and Dee Dee, his wife. They started this company. Me and Tim both know this, you know, Josh very, very well. Yeah, man. I'd be supporting this company whether I knew him or not, because the hats are dope. I'm all, you know, y'all know I'm all about Fort Worth, and it's Panther City Hat Company. So it would have caught my interest anyways. I would have definitely been supporting it. I would have been reaching out trying to see if we could work anyways, but it just so happens it's one of my best childhood friends, you know, and so it makes it even better. But dude, they're good people. They got dope stuff. Again, 15% off. Just put in Unfriended at checkout over at PantherCityHatCo.com. And I'm gonna skip all this. I'm gonna skip all this stuff, man. I'm gonna put all the links below, like I always do. So if y'all are interested in Klarity Music Group or Panther City Hat Company or any of your stuff, I'll put all the links below. But dude, I don't want to knock all these drinks over, but dude, thank you for coming on, man.
Thank you, bro. That was good, man.
All right, shit. Peace, guys.